Jason Whitlock.
I see you, Jason.
Whitlock. All right, welcome back to the show. Doug Gottlieb and Jason McIntyre are back, and we're joined now by former Pro Bowler T.J. Houshmandzadeh. Let's move to Michael Bennett, who was just charged with a felony in a Houston court over an incident after the Super Bowl in 2017, where he allegedly shoved an elderly, disabled stadium employee so he could celebrate on the field after the Patriots win over Atlanta with his brother, Patriots tight end Martellus Bennett. According to Houston police, there is no video of the incident, but it was witnessed by a police officer. Reportedly, Bennett's new team, the Super Bowl champ Eagles, are aware of the situation. I said it yesterday. Michael Bennett's a poser. He's a wannabe. He's, again, from a great family, and I've seen it a million times. But he is the wrong guy to try to build some kind of social justice warrior, social activism, or spokesman for social justice issues, because he doesn't know how to protect his own credibility. He's had the incident with the Las Vegas police where he lied on them and got busted. Now he has this incident, which sounds to me like it's been over-dramatized by the police in Houston. Again, just on the surface, that's how it sounds to me, that they're turning a molehill into a mountain. But you know why they do that? Because you lied on the police in Las Vegas, and then the other police around the country say, okay, we just waiting.
Of course.
Just go anywhere past that white line, go 56 and a 55, and we're going to get you. And we're going to say your taillights were busted. And then we're going to say whatever little thing we can get on you, we're going to turn it in. And so if you want to make yourself the face of social justice, activism for athletes, you got to live a crystal clear, clean life. You got to be willing to, and he's not, because he's a poser, he's immature, he's silly, he's virtue signaling over Twitter. It's not real to him, so he doesn't approach his life in a real way. He's thrown away his credibility, in my opinion.
The idea that there's no video of something that happened at the Super Bowl, where the biggest sporting event in American sports that has more cameras on it, and everyone has a camera on the phone, and it's a year afterwards, right? This is not last year's Super Bowl, it's the previous Super Bowl. It does feel like the cops like, all right, and the little old lady who was a quadriplegic in the wheelchair wasn't toppled over, she was just pushed back, right? This is payback for Las Vegas for what he said.
Appears to be.
It appears to be.
We'll wait and see.
Fair enough. And, like, look, I don't know his background in terms of whether or not he's real and this idea of being woke is real or not. But I actually agreed with what he said in regards to what you need in the locker room.
You know, you're taking us off on a
No,
but you are. But you should have came to that first. TJ, I need to hear from you.
So, if anything, what Michael Bennett has done, he's just being real disrespectful to this elderly person. Because, for one, if he shoved his way onto the field, if there's a police officer that supposedly witnesses, why did they let him continue on the field? You're a police officer. You're there to keep everything in order and stop people from getting on the field that you don't want on the field. So if he shoved his way past everybody, why didn't you stop him? If he wouldn't stop, you arrest him right there on the spot. If anything, they say, oh, we had more important things to do before, because a whole year has passed. I think it's just they want to embarrass Michael Bennett now. He disrespected the older woman. I don't think it's that big of a deal, with the exception of it's what you said. Don't be this social activist and then you do these type of things. You can't play both. You can't play both sides of the fence. You have to figure out what side of the fence you're going to be on.
See, I largely agree with you, what you two are saying. But I guess my question is, if this happened, what, 16 months ago, 15 months ago, what does his social activism in the time from then to now have to do with the information coming out today? Like, should we put aside everything that he's done in the last 15 months to raise awareness and social activism because this came to light?
No. Again, my deal is, if you're going to operate in that arena, you have to live a very clean life, because there's going to be pushback. Yeah. And again, it's the Las Vegas deal that opened him up to this kind of pushback, in my view. And so that was just a few months ago, where he's at the fight or whatever, and he's saying inaccurately or lying or whatever, that the police have mistreated him, didn't explain why he got arrested, blah, blah, blah. See, he just drew attention to himself.
Let me ask you, let me follow up with this. So now he's the social justice warrior, as you like to call him, and he's drawing attention to himself, and you know what the other side's going to say. Well, they're coming after him. Look at the Vegas police incident, and now this 16-month-old incident in Houston. He's now a target because he's part of the social act.
Well,
you know that's coming, though.
For me, why is this an issue where he has to turn himself in to the police?
I would agree.
He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't injure anybody.
As far as we know,
didn't assault.
I think they're saying she was injured. Again, it may be over-dramatized.
If she's injured, you're not reporting it 16 months later.
Isn't that what Jason's saying, though? Like, right? Like the social justice warriors, like, see, they're coming after him with a completely trumped-up charge. I mean, like, this is, and it's a felony? Really?
Right.
This is a felony.
I totally get it. But this is why you don't do the Las Vegas thing. This is why you don't hop, the point you were trying to get to, you don't hop onto a podcast and say, to me, irresponsible things about Russell Wilson and then talk about how you need thugs in the locker room. Again, if you want to operate in the lane that he wants to operate in, there's a way you have to conduct yourself. And he's not doing any of that because it's not real. But it's a stick for Twitter. It's a stick for, again, and I've seen it a million times, and TJ, I guarantee you've seen it in the locker room, the black dude from the two-parent family that never missed a meal spends his entire life trying to get arrested.
I had a teammate like that at Oklahoma State, and he was
somebody like that on every team where you want to be tougher than what you are.
But that also, I actually think it agrees with his point that he said on Simmons' podcast, which means you can't have all choir boys in the locker room. You need some dudes from other...
We don't need posers.
Huh?
Again,
but
posers are what we talk about.
He didn't say anything about posers, though.
I'm saying about posers.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
He's a poser, and he had, again, posing eventually leads to ramifications like this in terms of the cause he allegedly is for, he's undermining. And he's undermining his own credibility, one, because he's a poser and there's no substance to Michael Bennett.
The sad part about this is this discussion is being had where his character can be somewhat assassinated, and it's not that big of a deal. It really isn't.
No, I want to correct that. I want to correct this, TJ. I disagree in terms of the level that the police have taken it to. Perhaps you're right. But if security, hey, man, you can't go this way.
Don't go.
Don't go.
But
don't feel entitled.
I get it. Why would you let him go?
Clearly, I do believe in this. The police chief has said the way he handled himself is very telling about his character. I think there's some substance to that. Now, they have taken it too far in demanding the man's arrest and putting felony charges on him.
Right.
But I do think the way he handled that situation, there's probably truth in terms of his entitled nature, his bullying, and all that. Again, that's my problem. He's an elitist. He feels entitled.
But he's also, Jason, he's a boy who cried wolf. And remember, when it happened in Las Vegas, the NFL, all of a sudden, they wanted an apology. The Seattle Seahawks threw all their weight behind him in supporting him. And at some point, there is going to be a real incident where a police officer does, steps out of bounds and does too much to a law-abiding citizen, whether it's a player or just an average citizen. And now, all of a sudden, Michael Bennett's led this charge, and we question the veracity of other claims because his claims obviously had no basis.
Coming up at the 30, were the protests at the Kings game and